Welcome to the GTN Show. This week in the world of triathlon, we are heading on over to a Spartan event taking place in Vermont with some pro athletes. A single man taking on 100 Ironmans in 100 days. And we're going to be continuing our discussion with the now released new Scott Plasma Triathlon bike. Also taking a look at an exciting new printing method that Adidas are using for their shoes. And finally, we'll be taking a look at some of your predictions for our Not Kona Week GTN Show last week. Well, to start the Tri News this week, we have the Spartan Games. This is an invite-only one-week event taking place somewhere in Vermont on a mountain. They have 24 of some of the fittest men and women competing for their share of $100,000. The winner taking home a whopping $20,000. Now, the event is actually already underway. I believe it started over the weekend. So by the time this video goes out, we may well actually have a winner, or we are very close to having that winner. Now, we've got numerous events obviously taking place throughout this week. We've got OCR, obstacle course racing, we've got ultra running, we've got swimming, mountain biking, functional fitness, amongst other strength and endurance activities. But the reason this is of interest to us this year is because we have some triathletes in the mix here, which is quite unusual. So we have Josiah Middle, who's the 2015 Xterra World Champion. We have Jared Shoemaker, who is a notable ex-pro now, but he was the 2009 ITU World Duathlon Champion. We also have another familiar name in there, Ryan Atkins, who you may remember from Sam and my Everesting run attempt. He is the current Everesting running unsupported record holder, world record holder. So clearly a very good runner, but he's also a very experienced OCR and Spartan athlete. In fact, also an ex-pro mountain biker. So he's my pick for this event, and it seems like he's a clear favorite going by the websites and all the stuff out there. But it's going to be very interesting to see how Josiah and Jared get on. So please do tune in, give them all our support, because it's great to see a triathlete do well in this. Now, about 5 years ago, Ryszard Kalański, who is from Witnia in Poland, apologies if I got the pronunciation wrong, did something incredible. He ran a marathon every single day for 366 days. That's just over a year, and that got himself into the Guinness Book of Records. Now, he says he did this to overcome an addiction to alcohol. Well, the 60-year-old is going after something even more incredible. He has set himself the target of doing 100 Ironmans in 100 days. Now, some very quick and simple maths there means that he would be swimming 386 kilometers, 18,000 kilometers of cycling, and just over 4,200 kilometers of running, all in 100 days. Well, that's just mind-blowing. So best of luck to you, Ryszard. We've also got another couple of races supported by the PTO, the Professional Triathletes Organisation. This time we have the Sun City Ultra Triathlon. This is a long-standing, popular, non-drafting middle distance race taking place just outside Pretoria in South Africa. It's already attracted the likes of James Kunema, Henry Schoeman, Carl Buckingham, Matt Troutman, Anna Watkinson, Emma Pallant, and Natia Van Herden, along with a rather attractive prize purse of $15,000. They have also just announced a $20,000 prize purse for the Great Floridian Triathlon on October the 24th at Clermont in Florida. Now, this is one of the longest running long-distance triathlons in the US. However, this pro race is actually going to be over almost a third format distance. So it's going to be a 0.8 mile swim, a 40 mile bike, and a 9 mile run. And actually, in addition to this, the top finishing male and female finisher will get themselves a chance of competing at the 2020 PTO Championships at Challenge Daytona, providing they haven't obviously pre-qualified. So yeah, very exciting. Well, moving on, and this time last week, we also had another couple of impressive records for. We had the 10K men's world record and the 5K women's world record. Joshua Cheptegei clocked 26 minutes and 11 seconds to beat Kenenisa Bekele's 15-year-old record by more than 6 seconds. Then Letesenabet Gide, which I've always struggled to say, clocked 14 minutes and 6 seconds, 0.62, to better a record that was set back in 2008. Now, both of those were set at the Valencia World Record Day, a one-off event taking place in the Spanish city. Now, Cheptegei's record here actually marks his fourth within the space of just 10 months. So crikey, that guy is on a roll and he's been very exciting to watch this season. In the last few weeks, I've excitedly spoken about Salomon and On's new recycled running shoe initiatives. Well, it seems like Wiggle are jumping in on the game too with what they call Recycle, Refresh and Run. Now it's in a bid to encourage runners to recycle their old trainers rather than just simply heading to landfill, and in turn, they're going to be rewarding those that prove that they're doing this. So you just need to send in a photo to Wiggle of you recycling your shoes, whether that's taking it to a charity shop, to a charity bin, or even simply just passing it on to a friend, and you can receive £20 voucher from Wiggle to use potentially, I guess, towards a new pair of trainers. The campaign is already up and running and will be running through to October, so get involved. And now moving on to some tech news, and finally on Friday last week we saw the launch of the much anticipated Scott Plasma 6 triathlon bike. Now this has been a rumoured bike for some time now. In fact, probably a couple of years ago, we saw a leaked image of this bike, which annoyed Scott a lot at the time because it seems they were far from ready, and fair play to Scott, it was worth the wait. I'm sure you've all seen the images already, but here it is. What a beauty. Now, I tried to guess as much as I possibly could last week on that silhouetted image, and I was fairly close in some cases. Now, there is a straw coming from the top tube. I was right in saying that. I did speculate as to whether the hydration system was simply at the top, near the top tube, or actually there was a storage box down towards the bottom, whether it went all the way down there. It does in fact just stay up at the top tube near the kind of the headset region, and that area seems to be maybe removable. But obviously that means that then you've got two storage boxes. You've got one down at the bottom near the bottom bracket, and then one up towards the saddle behind the seat tube. Now interestingly, there is a compartment between the aero bars which would ordinarily be a hydration system, or what we kind of, I guess, got used to seeing. Well, because that hydration system is now on the top tube, taking up that place of where might be, I guess, a bento box, they kind of switched it around. So actually this bento box region is now between the aero bars, so you can store your gels and your bars in there. So very, very interesting. It's cool to see people kind of, I guess, flip things on its head, change things and go for something completely original. And I'm very excited to see it being raced. So hopefully we'll see maybe Alistair racing next weekend, or Sebi very soon too. And now for some running shoe tech news, but for once it isn't about carbon plates, but in my opinion just as exciting. Obviously we have got used to running shoe companies releasing carbon plate shoes and the whole kind of hype and development in that area, but I think it's fair to say the uppers and the material used across the top of the shoe that holds our foot in place has kind of been neglected whilst they're focusing on this carbon plate in the sole. Well, it turns out Adidas haven't been neglecting that. For the past 4 years, they have been developing a way in which they can create a new weave for that fabric that goes on the top. It is called their Future Craft Strung technology, and quoting from a site here, the technology sees a robot quickly place more than 1,000 individual threads at mind-bending angles across the material part of the shoe. And that kind of means that we're seeing thread weaved in ways that we've never seen before in running shoes. And I gotta admit, it does look a little bit chaotic, but that's apparently what Adidas want, and that's what is intended. Now, they've used actual scans and 3D imagery of runners' feet whilst they're moving and use this in the process. So they've used that information to create the weave, and in some places it'll be more tightly strung, and in other places not so much. Now, they've already created 3D printed soles. They've actually combined the two for this specific shoe, and I've got to say, it looks pretty darn cool. And the first versions, they won't be available until late 2021 or perhaps even 2022, so you're just going to have to hang tight. And now moving on to the race news, and it's just the one race this week. It was the ITU Arizekina World Cup on the Italian island of Sardinia. It was over the shorter sprint distance format, a non-wetsuit swim, a very hilly, technical and challenging bike leg, and then a very fast run to finish. Now in the swim, we had an uncharacteristically poor swim from Alistair Brownlee. That left him chasing on the bike, but he put a big surge in on the first climb and a very daring descent by himself and Christian Blumenfeld. That allowed them to bridge back up to the lead pack containing Vincent Louis, and then onto the run. It seemed to be a foot race between Vincent Louis and Christian Blumenfeld. Despite a big effort from Blumenfeld in the final kilometre, it was Vincent Louis that managed to sprint away to take the win. Blumenfeld took second, and an impressive finish from Alistair Brownlee to take third. Now on the women's side, well, less exciting in terms of those close finishes because it was the Flora Duffy show. She took a 10-second lead out of the swim and just capitalised on that. She went solo on the bike and continued on to take the win. So fantastic to see her back on form and racing well. An impressive performance from Beth Potter to take second, and then third place went to Verena Steinhauser. We're now moving on to some photos sent in by you guys. We've got a couple of great ones here. Start off, we've got a pain cave sent in by Doug from Amman and Jordan. He said, we just moved to Amman at the beginning of January. They set up a room specifically for their indoor training. I've got to say, pretty impressive. They got their bike set up on a kicker, a Neo. They've got a rather flash looking running machine there. They got the TV in front and then previous race motivation on the wall. Thanks also for putting GTN on the TV. Great to see. Thanks for all the support. It said everything race and training related is in this space and all labelled, which is very cool. It's a perfect escape from the world of COVID. Stay safe and keep running. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Moving on though, next photo from Bart, and this is from Amsterdam. He said he's just finished his first Olympic distance triathlon. I was surprised they went ahead, he says, though all the vivid restrictions, it still went on. Had some trouble with my swimming. The rest went fine. Well, congratulations to you. As always, please do send in all your photos, videos. We'd love to know what you're getting up to at the moment. If you are setting your own challenges, doing your own little kind of adventures, please send in any photos you have, maybe even videos, triathlons you maybe managed to do. We love seeing them. Photo uploader link is on screen right now. You can find it in the description just down below. But now for the Caption Comp, your chance to win a GTN swimming cap, which again, I don't have here today. I'm always unorganised when I do this. But last week's photo was of Heather and myself out in Kona, reminiscing on the good times. It's actually a couple of years ago now, but brilliant photo and some great captions coming in. So Pipes W started things off, said, I'm a little teapot. No, I'm a little teapot. Rick Star said, well, Heather says, focus mark. And then I said, I think I stepped on something. Don't know why I'd speak so high pitched, but I did in this instance, obviously. Ollie Willis said, wax on, wax off. It was very good. And then Morty Tours is the winner. Crouching Mark, Hidden Heather. I don't know why, very simple. I love that. You're the winner of the Caption Comp this week. If you want your chance to win a GTN swimming cap, we've got this photo from the ITU World Cup this past weekend. Send in your caption submissions in the comment section below, and best of luck to you. And that was it for the GTN show this week. But before we do round up, I thought I'd go through some of the predictions that you guys sent in to the show last week. Now, last week we had a not Kona week on GTN for what would and should have been the Ironman World Championship Kona week. Obviously, we didn't have an Ironman World Championships this year, but we thought we'd still do our 2020 Kona predictions should it have gone ahead. We also got Torsten Rad involved as almost the gospel to give us the results for the 2020 World Championships. Obviously all very tongue-in-cheek, but we asked you guys to get involved and send in your submissions, your predictions as well. So we've got some great ones coming in. Dick Martino said, I confidently predict I would have won Kona this year. Thank you very much. Dick, I'm very sure you would have. Christoph Kajensiewicz, sorry if I got that wrong, said Torsten would have won easily. There he is, shooting his entire segment in a sauna and not breaking a sweat. Funny you say that. I actually joked about the Torsten off air as well. Lindemann0815 said, I think Laura Philipp will take the women's race. She came in fourth in her first World Champs and she is the strongest on the bike. We also talked about Laura Philipp a lot, and I speculated as to whether she would have got on that podium as well. She is very impressive and I'm keeping a close eye on her. Fredino, unbeatable, they've said. So yeah, that went with my predictions as well. Rob Powell said Annie Haug for the win, Reef for second, Sarah True for third. Fredino, the win on the men's side, Keenly in second, and I've picked this one out because they've suggested Worth for third. Interesting choice that, and actually we didn't speak about Worth in the show last week. I actually put him into my predictions the year before. I said that his running's improved so much. He's obviously such a strong cyclist. I really do think we could see him on the podium very soon. So yeah, great submission there. But that is it for the show this week. I hope you have enjoyed it. Do stay tuned for a ton of content this week. We've got Should You Swim with Your Fingers Open or Closed? That or that. Big debate out there in the swimming world and triathlon world. And make your long run longer. Like I said, if you have enjoyed today's show, please do give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to give us a follow on social media, subscribe to the channel just down below if you're not doing so already, and head on over to our GTN shop if you haven't gone and checked it out before. We've got some new t-shirts over there. And why not check out some of our previous content whilst you're rooting around all of this. How to eat and drink on the bike we had last week, and also our Ironman World Championship record attempt. It's worth a watch just for the pain faces from Heather and myself. Kat was very calm and collected, but yeah, it was tough.